After tonight, I am just like, ugh, right now. But anyway, what up, dorks? This is your WWE SummerSlam 2019 review. My overall thoughts on what was SummerSlam 2019. Thank you all for tuning in live into the channel. If you are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Give the video stream a big old thumbs up and share it throughout your entire social media platforms, wherever you share videos in general. Before I get into this review, let's just talk about the elephant in the room. The WWE updated the WWE network about a couple weeks ago. I say 3 weeks or so, right? And it has the new Netflix feel and shit like that. But WWE network, please, seriously, please, get your shit together. I know for a fact that I am not the only person that had issues with the WWE network while watching the show tonight. I go on Twitter and I know for a fact that a bunch of people had issues with the network. Whether it kept buffering, kept lagging. And here's the thing about it, the network's been around for so fucking long that I get it, yes, there's updates and you have to, again, get with the times and shit. But bruh, you've had this update's been around now for almost 3 weeks or so. You mean to tell me, and in this time period, you were not able to fix the kinks or the errors, especially when it's your second biggest show of the year, SummerSlam? Like, come on, seriously. And again, I want to hope and want to believe that, that for the next pay-per-view, they'll have it fixed. But it's crazy. Again, there's lagging issues, there's buffering issues. Hell, there's even like stuff I watch with the network now, and some of the shit's out of sync. That's like YouTube type of shit back in 2010. Whenever you try to upload something, you have it out of sync so YouTube wouldn't take it down. It's very, very sad. It's very fucking stupid. But overall, this is also another installment of Around the Point. As you can tell, I'm a little tired, but here I am anyway. Earlier today, during the pay-per-view, myself, Big Mike, and Walter, we did our Wrestle Companion. Basically, we did a live reaction to SummerSlam. It should be, I guess, rendering now or processing now as we speak. This is another stream that I'm doing. And again, I thank all of you for tuning in. If you are new to the channel, again, all that mumbo jumbo I just said earlier. But for me overall, SummerSlam, I'll say this. I went into the show with no expectations. I went into the show literally looking forward to just 2 matches, honestly. And I gotta say this about it. Overall, the show was solid. I'm not gonna say, oh my god, this was great. By no means at all. I thought if I'm grading this show right now, I gotta give it a C. To be honest with you, I think it's the same grade that I gave SummerSlam last year, if I'm not mistaken. But I want to hear your thoughts, guys, in the comment threads below. Let me know your thoughts on SummerSlam. If you've not yet watched if you've watched the show, again, guys, I welcome your thoughts and all that stuff. So there you go with that. Whether you like the show or not, and all that fun stuff, all that hippie hoopla. So I did catch the kickoff show. I did catch it for what it was worth. Apparently, it was a 2-hour kickoff show. It was 2 hours. 2 hours of a kickoff show. Which to me, again, there were talks of it being an hour, but it ended up just being a 2 hour of a fucking kickoff show, which to me was We started off with the Cruiserweight title match between Drew Gulak and Oney Lorcan. I thought overall, for what it was worth, it felt short. It felt like a very, very short match. It didn't really go that long. It went about, 4 minutes almost. And they got a lot of shit in almost, my bad. No, they went like 8 minutes. But again, it just felt like short to me, for whatever it was worth. They were both beating the fuck out of each other, I'll tell you that, hitting these stiff shots at one another. But when it was all said and done, and here's the thing about it, there are people that thought that Lorca was gonna win. People thought that literally only Lorca was gonna win the match. And again, they had a good performance. For what was good about it too, that hey, they didn't wrestle in a half-empty building. I remember years ago, it was like a 6-person tag. It was the Miz and the B Team versus Jason Jordan and the Hardy Boys, and they wrestled literally on the SummerSlam kickoff show in an empty building. I remember that. So thankfully, this match was not even an empty building. But again, it was for what it was worth. The match felt solid for what it was worth. Again, they were beating the fuck out of each other. Lorcan was just slapping the fuck out of Gulak. Literally just slapping the shit out of him, which was insane. But eventually, with all said and done, Drew Gulak got the win. He got the win, and he retained successfully the Cruiserweight Championship. He hit the Cyclone Splash, is what he's calling his finisher. I thought it would be with the Gulak, but it was not. Then we had a match that really scratched my head. It was Buddy Murphy making his main roster debut. The main roster debut of Buddy Murphy. After being on SmackDown Live, since being gone from 205 Live, and again, you saw him on SmackDown this past Tuesday getting his ass beat by Roman Reigns. And they showed a clip of that too. But this was his first match on the main fucking roster. God damn it. Against all people, Apollo Crews. The match goes about 4 minutes. It ends in disqualification when Rowan comes out and he attacks, literally attacks Buddy Murphy. You remember when Roman beat Buddy Murphy, he basically told Roman that, oh, it was Eric Rowan. It was Rowan, right? And there was a guy in the crowd chanting. There was a guy in the crowd chanting "snitches get stitches," which was very funny to me. Very fucking funny. I'm glad I watched the pre-show. I wasn't even planning on either. I wasn't really planning on either. But there's that, honestly. You guys are kicking ass in the chat. Thank you guys as always for kicking ass in the chat. Again, if you're new to the channel, guys, hit that subscribe button down below and all that fun stuff. Keep this in mind too. As the kickoff show was happening, I was cooking dinner for me, basically. But after that, we had the match between, well, it was for the women's tag team title match, right? It was the Iconics versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. I honestly did not care for this match. I really, genuinely, honestly did not give a shit about this match at all. I thought this match was just whatever to put on the show. I guess one of the stories here was the fact that, hey, here we go, much better. I got a better thing to read at here, basically. Here we go. But again, with the Iconics, though, again, it was one of those things I just didn't give a shit about. Bliss had on like a Buzz Lightyear themed gear and won the match for her team with a Twisted Bliss on the Peyton Royce. So basically, from here, again, we can basically say now that it's over with now, right? It's done. It's done. It's over with. It's again, we can move on from that. Also on the show, we had Elias playing a song about how much he hates Toronto, right? Got some good lines there. He got some good lines in there as well. And then he was interrupted by Hall of Famer Edge. Edge gets in there and he spears him. Now, if you guys noticed, I don't know if you guys did or not, this was Edge's first offensive move on someone. And literally, after when you think about it, 8 years since he retired. And people think, oh, is he gonna come back? No, he's not. He's not coming back. Edge is not coming back. When you think about it, right? It was a simple move, just a spear. And if you guys remember when Edge would do the spear back in the day, it was like he was hugging you. So it wasn't like, oh my god, a vicious spear. It's like he runs into you and he holds you and he takes you down, basically. So it wasn't like, oh my god, something to be like, oh my god, if you will. So let's not get overboard with it. He's not coming back, but it was cool to see him for whatever it was worth, all right? And then we get to the fucking main card, okay? And I'm gonna say, before we get to the main card, let's just say the following. Let's get this out of the way. Regarding the main event, listen, I don't want to hear it anymore. I do not want to hear it. think about this, right? I want people to let this shit marinate, okay? Roman Reigns, I said this on Twitter, by the way, at Heel Steven, by the way. I said it on Twitter. Roman Reigns was not able to beat Brock Lesnar twice back to back. Meanwhile, Rollins does, even though he was made to look like a fucking fool. So this whole argument that Roman being shoved down your throat, I don't want to hear it no more. I do not want to hear it. I'll even say this right now. Seth Rollins being shoved down your fucking throat, you dorks. And you're all just accepting it for what it's worth. I don't have the problem. You guys do. They ain't facts, homies. We get the first match of the night. We get the submission match for the Raw Women's Championship. Becky Lynch and defending the Raw Women's Championship versus Natalya. Natalya will get being from Toronto. Came out with a Canadian flag. They had an okay match. I'm not going to go there and say, oh my god, this match was fucking bananas or anything like that, but they had a very okay match. They're basically countering their own finishing maneuvers. There's a moment in the match where Natty locks in the disarmer, and yeah, Becky Lynch hitting the sharpshooter. There's also a good visual of this match where Natty has a sharpshooter locked in the middle of the ring. We've seen this before when someone's in a submission hole and they reach the rope and then they get dragged right back to the middle. But it was all said and done, though. Becky Lynch eventually locks in the disarmer, and Natty is forced to tap out in the middle of the ring in Toronto, in her home crowd, in her hometown, basically in her country. You'll notice tonight there were two Canadians that tapped out. When you think about that, right? There were two Canadians who tapped out, which I thought was very funny for whatever it was worth. We then get the second match of the night. We get Goldberg versus Dolph Ziggler. And let's be real about it. Let's be fucking real about it, okay? If you literally thought that you're going to see something spectacle, like fire or magic, if you will, I hate to break it to you. I really do. Take these headphones out, right? Now I can do this better, okay? If you really thought that Bill Goldberg was going to go out there and give you a fucking clinic, no. I'll say this, at least the fucker didn't headbutt his head on the fucking door. That being said, this match was your typical Goldberg match. He gets in there. I'm fucking stuttering. I'm fucking stuttering right now. I don't know why. But Ziggler hits not one but two super kicks on Bill Goldberg. Two super kicks on him. After the second super kick, Goldberg was gassed the fuck out. But then eventually, Goldberg hits the spear, then the jackhammer for the 1, 2, 3. And as the match is over, right? The match is fucking over. You see Goldberg leaving the ring, and then Dolph getting on the mic, calling him a dipshit. They censored the word, by the way. He called him a dipshit. And he's like, you can't beat me man to man, this and that. You're still trash. You're a joke to the business, what have you. Then Goldberg is back in the ring, spears him, jackhammers him, and leaves him just laying there. And then Dolph is still talking on the mic, right? Calling out Goldberg to face him man to man. And what do you think happened here? Goldberg comes out again, spears him, jackhammers him, and leaves him lying there. So basically, Goldberg had 3 matches in one night. That man earned his paycheck. I tell you that much right now. The man earned his fucking paycheck. Good on you, Goldberg. Good on you. Seriously. Good for fucking Goldberg, for real, guys. After this, we had the... But other than that, listen, Goldberg, people are going to say, oh, he redeemed himself from Saudi Arabia. He redeemed himself. Yeah, no. You know what I mean? But it's whatever. It really is whatever. We had, keep this in mind too, on tomorrow on Raw, it's basically Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz. Big whoop-de-doo. We had the U.S. title match, AJ Styles defending the U.S. title versus Ricochet. Let's be clear here, okay? Ricochet wore like a night gear attire. I want to know what it was again. Ricochet, Knight Rider, Night something, right? Nightwing. He wore a Nightwing attire. I'm not big on DC, okay? On DC Comics, okay? So spare me on that one. He comes out there and he's again wearing this whole gear, has like a fucking bodysuit and shit. It looked stupid. It really, really did. But to be fair, though, to his credit, at least Ricochet on a pay-per-view. Again, SummerSlam considered a big pay-per-view, right? At least he tried to put on something different. At least he tried something different with his ring attire. I can't see the same shit for Seth Rollins, who's in the main event, but that's just around the point, by the way. The match for what it was, listen, I've seen them have better matches. I've seen them go out there and just do better stuff than this. I'm not saying this match was bad or anything, but it just felt like just flat to me. It really, really did. You had the club out there as well with AJ Styles. The match literally ends when Styles countered a Phoenix Splash into a Styles Clash, like in New Japan, like in a New Japan Classic with Kota Ibushi, right? And that's what he used to win the match. So basically, we didn't get this whole thing where, oh my god, a Ricochet kicked out of a finishing move or vice versa. And that was the match. And then after the match, you had Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson hit Ricochet with the Magic Killer. And they put the boots on him, basically. So there was that. We see backstage Ric Flair dance around with the Street Profits. So that was cool, I guess. Get a cameo spot, what have you. Good on him for that. We then get Bayley versus Ember Moon for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Boy, they were rushing these matches when you think about it, right? And this match was a dud. I didn't give a shit about it. A boring match. It felt very bland. And again, it's tough because you think about it, right? Bayley's facing someone different. It's not a Charlotte Flair or anything like that, or an Alexa Bliss. It's someone completely different that she basically chose on SmackDown Live. She chose to face Ember Moon. And you would think that, hey, they would go out there and let them do something different. But instead, it's your basic match that you would have seen on SmackDown Live. Basically here, Bayley retained her championship with a belly-to-belly suplex from the off the top rope. And that was that, basically. That was that. Again, you know, I was expecting an appearance from somebody, but that didn't happen either. But I'm not craving or asking myself to see this match again, if you will, right? I don't think that really pushes Ricochet hard enough. Not that they're pushing hard enough. It's the fact that it's a situation where, again, you know, he's just there now. The whole mystique of Ricochet is over with. I'll read the comments momentarily, guys. If you guys have questions for me, a lot of fun stuff, feel free to send in your questions. I'll answer them at the end of the review, if you will. So after this, we get the Kevin Owens match versus Shane McMahon. Where if Kevin Owens were to lose, he would have to quit WWE. And basically, Shane McMahon made Elias a special enforcer. And Elias interfered throughout the match, right? Here's the thing about it, too. This match, nobody was cramming. Nobody was demanding this match or anything like that, right? You think about this, too, and I know I'm going off topic here a little bit. That's what I usually do with these reviews, because I don't give a fuck. This SummerSlam, to an extent, fell flat because they're missing people. There was no Roman Reigns. There was no Samoa Joe. There was no, I guess, no Bobby Lashley without with an injury. They missed a lot of people on the show. I know there's named a couple, like either Andrade, Rey Mysterio. You would at least think they put these guys on the kickoff show, being Mysterio and Andrade, but no, nothing like that. Kind of sad. Really, really is. But again, back to the Shane and Kevin Owens match. They were fighting on the outside. Shane got his offense in like he usually does. Again, nothing to go crazy about. Honestly, I'm sorry. There's a moment, obviously, where there's like a referee bump, right? So Elias, so basically, okay, so there's a referee bump. So Owens attacked Elias with the chair. Okay, keep this in mind. Elias threw a chair into the ring, right, at one moment in the match. And Owens looked like he was going to hit Shane with the chair. And the referee kept warning him, if you hit him with the chair, I'll disqualify you and you lose the match. There's a moment where, in this whole thing, Shane goes to slap Kevin Owens. It kind of reminded me back, I think, of Money in the Bank 2011, when Christian spat on Randy Orton. And by doing so, he got disqualified. And by virtue of doing that, Orton, that is, lost the World Heavyweight Championship to Christian. So we kind of saw that again almost, right? And here, Kevin Owens thought about it, but didn't do it at all. There was a ref bump, and then through that, you see Kevin Owens attacking Elias. And again, he teased hitting Shane with the chair, right? But the original ref recovered. And as the ref was removing the chair, Owens kicked McMahon in the groin. So he low blowed him basically and hit the stunner to win the match. So with all of that, Kevin Owens beats Shane McMahon. But the sad part about it is, when you think about it, this is not going to be over. It's not. It's not going to be fucking over. When you think about it. It really, really isn't. It's going to continue. It's going to continue on. That's the sad part about it. And again, no one's asking for this. No one is. And keep this in mind, I'm a Kevin Owens fan. Those of you that follow my channel for a long time, you already know that I am a big Kevin Owens fan. But at the same time, you know, let's see what happens here. Let's see what happens. We then get the match that I was actually looking forward to here. Charlotte Flair versus Trish Stratus. And listen, this match, actually, I did enjoy. It had a slow start. It really, really did. But I'll say this too. If you look at just them two standing, if you look at both Charlotte and Trish standing side by side, holy crap, it's a fucking mismatch. Just look at the height. Like, literally, Trish is just a tiny person standing next to Charlotte Flair in the ring. Maybe because of all the plastic surgery that Charlotte got on herself, that's fine. But bruh, it was just a fucking mismatch into some aspects, right? If you're talking to someone who doesn't watch wrestling and they're watching it for the first time, they'll tell you that. They will. That being said, like I said, it had a slow start. But eventually, though, Trish got her offense in. She hit the chick kick. She hit Stratisfaction. She even locked in the figure 8 on Charlotte Flair. But again, they made Trish look like $1 million here. People are chanting, "You still got it," which I still kind of find an annoying chant because, again, we know she still does, but it's not like she's kind of come back full time. Okay, but it was all said and done, right? Charlotte eventually locks in the figure 8 after a back and forth grueling match between these two, right? And eventually Trish taps out as expected. It made sense. So again, another Canadian tapping out to a submission move in Canada. And after the match, Trish Stratus got the standing ovation and she took a bow on her way out. So there was that. And again, that's how the match should have gone down. You can't sit there and tell me that Trish was going to win. Because if she did win, then what? Now she's going to be there on SmackDown on Tuesday. And I guess now this establishes Charlotte Flair as now the top diva, or the top women's wrestler on the roster now. But she is. She's Charlotte Reigns. Charlotte Flair is Charlotte Reigns. And from here, likely she'll probably get another shot at the SmackDown Women's Championship. But we'll see. We then go from there to the WWE title match. Kofi Kingston versus Randy Orton. Here's the thing with this match. I hated the ending. I get why they did it. I understand. You wanted to, I guess, probably get another match out of these two. They probably will do it. Probably Clash of Champions. But damn, I had so much expectation for this match. And key thing about it, Orton hit an RKO on Kingston from out of nowhere, right? Like the whole thing where Kingston did like a dive from the top rope and gets caught with an RKO, right? And you have Randy Orton outside the ring. And keep this in mind, they're on the outside. They're in front of Kofi's wife and his 2 kids, right? Who are literally at ringside. They're sitting in the front row. And you see Orton, I guess, distracted, trying to get the attention of Kofi's kids. And while this is happening, the referee's counting, but no one even notices the shit. And then Kofi goes on to the attack, and they call for the bell. They call for the bell, the double count out. People were chanting bullshit as they should, but again, I get what they're trying to do. Get another match out of both Kofi in order for the championship. There's moments in this match too where people were actually booing Kofi Kingston. So people can say, oh, it's a slow transition to the heel run. Maybe so. Maybe just possibly. But here's what I found funny too. And I don't know if any of you dorks caught this shit or not. But I did. I caught this. Right? Kofi Kingston gets offense on Orton after the whole shit goes down. Because I guess what happened was Orton was, I guess, trying to get the attention of Kofi's kids, and Kofi got mad. Kofi got mad because of that, right? While Kofi Kingston is beating the fuck out of Orton with the kendo stick and all that shit, right? They put the camera on Kofi's kids, and his kids just sit there and just stare the whole. They just stare at Kofi just putting the boots to Orton. And here's the thing about it: if you're a kid, if you see your dad beating the fuck out of somebody or kicking someone's ass, you should be happy. You should cheer up like, yeah, dad, go get him, dad. Some shit like that, right? But no, they just stood there, looked into the camera. You see Kofi's wife trying to get excited, and it looked so fucking fake. It really, really did. But there was that. So because of that, Kofi still retained the championship. But like I said before, they're likely going to build up to another fucking match. But again, this match had so much potential. But it just came out, again, with the ending being so fucking sloppy. So there's that. We then get the debut of The Fiend. The Fiend, Bray Wyatt versus Finn Balor. People were expecting the Demon King to come out, but that didn't happen at all. There's no Demon King here. Just a regular Finn Balor. We're all white. He was going to fucking heaven. Better believe that. If Bray Wyatt comes out, though, the Fiend that is, right, to a new entrance, it looks very badass. Dude came out with a lantern that had the face of the old Bray Wyatt, which was cool as shit. Like, wow, that's so fucking awesome. And the match begins. And Bray goes on this tear on Finn. And that's how it should have been. But my only critique was this. You give Finn Balor some offense here. And I get it. You got to give him all. You got to give him some offense because he's Finn Balor, right? It's not like it's not like Bray Wyatt was wrestling, I don't know, Kurt Hawkins or Zack Ryder or Titus O'Neil. It's Finn Balor. So because it's Finn, you got to give Finn some offense. I get that. But it looks so, like, you know, so stupid, though, at the same time. But there's a moment in the match where the Fiend, right, he basically snaps the neck of Finn Balor, which looked very, like, wow, looked very crazy and shit. But with all said and done, Bray got the win. He hit Sister Abigail in the Mandible Claw. Keep this in mind, Finn hit his sling blade. He went for the coup de grace but missed, and got hit with the Uranagi and Sister Abigail in the Mandible Claw. And based off that, Finn passed out, and the referee decided to go for the cover. And because of that, Bray Wyatt has the win. And again, cool entrance. I question giving Finn some offense, but I understand why they did it in a way. But that being said, my question is now, and I ask you guys this question, and again, I hope you guys give me some answers. I hope you guys give me some answers here. What's next for Bray Wyatt or the Fiend? What do you see happening? Come here to the time we get to Survivor Series. I really would love to hear you guys' thoughts on that. And then the camera pans off to to Bray, then back to Finn, and there's that. We get to the main event. We get to the main event of the evening. We get Brock Lesnar defending the Universal Championship versus Seth freaking Rollins. The biggest moron going into SummerSlam. Listen, I just don't know how to feel about this match. There's people that thought it was fun. People thought it was corny. People thought it was fucking bullshit. Again, depending on what table you sit in with that, right? Rollins countered multiple German suplexes, stood on his feet, Did a curb stomp to kick off the match, super kicks, took him to the outside. There's a moment in the match where fucking Seth does like a splash or something off the top turnbuckle onto the outside onto the announce table on Brock. Brock had his own. Brock did his thing as well. Just ragdoll. There's a moment in the match where Brock is grabbing Seth by the bandage because Rollins was wrapped around on the ribs, right, and just spun him around like a fucking ragdoll, and just spun him around. I thought it was funny for what it was worth. And again, they did the whole thing. Here's the thing with Brock, right? When he wrestles small guys, right? He'll take the offense. He'll eat everyone's offense. He'll take everyone's finisher. But he's kicking out. He's kicking out, and he's making your move feel like a fucking $1,000,000, right? Keep that in mind. Rollins countered an F5 hit a super kick, and then connected the curb stomp, right? They keep in mind, this was the third curb stomp of the match, and he won the Universal Championship. So Seth Rollins is now a 2-time Universal Champion. Seth Rollins has beaten Brock Lesnar twice in one-on-one matches. When you think about it, right? He beat him at WrestleMania, and now beats him at SummerSlam. If this was Roman Reigns, holy shit, the internet community would fucking explode. Because Rollins, it's okay. Like I told you guys before, Rollins is getting shoved down your fucking throat, guys. It's happening. It's fucking happening. I'll be honest with you guys, a part of me would have preferred Brock retaining the championship. Because my question is now, okay, Seth is champion. Now what? Where do you go from here? Clash of Champions in a couple of weeks. You gotta tell me we're getting Rollins versus Baron Corbin again? We're getting Rollins versus, I don't fucking know. Who do you throw him out there against? The Fiend? Maybe The Fiend. But that's kind of soon right now when you think about it, right? But it just, again, like, where do you go from here? And now, to my understanding, there's gonna be another draft coming up real soon. So I think from there, Brock goes to SmackDown, and again, the fact that SmackDown's going to Fox, you want Brock on the SmackDown brand to be on Fox and all that shit, but we'll see. Again, the main event. I'm reading the comments here, guys. By the way, King Spartan writes here. King Spartan 375299. I'm gonna just call it King Spartan, okay? Main event for the Universal title was complete trash. Raw isn't over, and WWE has tried and yet still remains to not even get over. Okay. They have the backstory down with the Fiend, but they don't have the actual history of him destroying people. I think the Fiend reminds me more of a newer Kane. Yeah, I kind of get that too. Okay, I think WWE doesn't know how to use a roster once it swells above a certain amount of people. I don't know, right? Super underwhelming. I guess regarding Ricochet, which is fine. But that was SummerSlam. Again, a show that I'll give a C. I thought if anything, just watch the show for the Trish and Charlotte match for whatever it was worth, and I guess as well for the Fiend. But again, the show felt very flat. There was no mention of Roman Reigns. There was no Samoa Joe. There was no update on the Roman Reigns storyline. They showed a video, but that really isn't shit, though, to be honest. No Daniel Bryan, no Andrade, no Rey Mysterio. Not even a cameo of Maria Kanellis and Mike Kanellis, again, roasting each other and shit. They had Carmella and R-Truth dressed up, and I guess as the international commentators and shit, and stuff like that. But yeah, that was SummerSlam. But again, guys, give me your thoughts. I'm tired of shit. I'm about to crash in a little bit. I have work tomorrow at 9 in the morning. But I thank you guys for tuning in as always. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button down below. Before I move on, before I wrap this up, I want to give a big thank you to all of you in this course. As always, the best graphic designer in the IWC. He's responsible for this overlay that you see here, and as well for the thumbnail of the video. The one, the only Salrex. And if you are a YouTuber, if you're a podcaster, and you want awesome graphics and overlays done for your YouTube channel, hit the man up on Twitter right now. It's SRXGFX. Tell him that I sent you, and he'll work with you. He'll do amazing stuff for you. Not only does he do graphic designs for me, but he also does graphic designs for the likes of JD from NY206, the Solid Monster, House of Glory, Big Mike from Big Mike Wrestling Recap Show. He's in the chat right now. Salrex is also responsible for the logos, not just of Around the Point, but also for the logo of the Team Heel podcast. So again, the guy does amazing stuff. Go hit him up, tell him that I sent you, and tell him that you want awesome graphics done and all that stuff. And this concludes basically SummerSlam weekend. Overall, my weekend was fun. I went to House of Glory on Friday. I saw the Young Bucks versus Private Party. Saturday was TakeOver Toronto. Adam Cole Gargano 3. It was awesome. And then today was SummerSlam. But in case you guys have not yet checked out, again, this weekend I was busy. I uploaded a episode of Around the Point up on the channel literally yesterday. My thoughts on the so-called war between AEW and NXT, as NXT is moving to FS1 real soon and going head-to-head with AEW, who will be on TNT, the Wednesday Night War. So if you've not checked that out, go give it a watch as soon as possible. Also, myself, Big Mike, and Walter, we did a full Wrestle Companion where we basically did a reaction to SummerSlam 2019 as it was going on the WWE Network. Again, I know people had issues with the network, and I seriously hope WWE gets their shit together with the network. But that's just Around the Point. Alright guys, you follow me on Twitter at HeelSteven. If you're new to the channel, hit that sub button down below. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Again, hate, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, y'all, I am Steve, and I am out like Janet's titties. This has been Around the Point.